Let's move into the final topic here on the Fast Break Podcast. Again, just real quick, check out patreon.com/mostofitpodcast if you want to be an MVP podcast, whether it's the Fast Break, the Primetime Podcast, the Onside Kick, the Ricky Johnny Podcast, or even our monthly Patreon podcast. Also, check out mostofitpodcast.com if you want to check out some merch. But boys, let's get into the final topic. We're talking about prospect needs for the Sacramento Kings. We talked just recently about the Cavs, and we also did a topic a little bit earlier in the season about why Michael Porter Jr. is the best fit for the Sacramento Kings. We were doing a little bit of a hot take, just getting some names and teams flowing around, but it's kind of fallen to Michael Porter Jr. territory for the Kings, where they've landed in the draft lottery. So right now, at this moment, with all the questions about his health, whether and don't bring up, what if he comes, healthy to the combine? This is at face value what we saw in the tournament, what we saw out of Michael Porter Jr. and his injury. At the slot the Sacramento Kings are slated to pick, do they go Michael Porter Jr. if he's available?
I would. And the reason why is in this league, the 76ers have shown, and the Kings, with one player, whoever they pick here at number 7, are not making the finals. Probably not even making the playoffs. So no matter what happens, I'd pick MPJ, even if I have to shelf him the year, give him that full year to get better, and then I get another top 10 pick to add with him.
I mean, that's... They could do it. They're the freaking Sacramento Kings.
They're the Kings. It's like, if you're not winning the finals or going to the playoffs, why not? And you're getting a guy... Like, the thing with Michael Porter Jr. is, before the injury, we were saying, best kid coming into college basketball, going to be the number 1 pick, then the injury happened. So... if I give him a full year to just say you're not playing...
And you have Harry Giles' rookie year being this upcoming year, so you have 2 number 1 kids out of high school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a lot of talent and potential, but both guys with major injury concerns.
And injuries. Yeah.
But, again, look at the Philadelphia 76ers. Well, maybe not totally the same way, because, Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz still performed in college.
Yeah.
But still, again, they didn't have that performance in their rookie year. And obviously much different because both were number 1 picks, and these guys are going to not be number 1 picks if they're Michael Porter Jr. and Harry Giles. But the one thing, again, it's something where if Michael Porter Jr. is available for really any team, he's definitely on the board. It's just how concerned are you about those injuries? The red shirt idea is definitely out there, and I think that if he's on the board, I think that he can add a different level to this Kings team. You look at the starting lineup so far, clearly number 1, the number 1 starter for the Kings going for the future at point guard is going to be De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. At that 2 spot, it's going to be Buddy Hield. At that 3 spot, Bogdan Bogdanovic had a fantastic year, looking like a great three-point shooter from the outside, looking like a great 3-and-D player as well. Bogdan might have stolen away that 3 spot, but we've talked about Michael Porter Jr., and some people yelled at me for saying that Michael Porter Jr. is a 4 and not a 3. Again, this was taking what we saw from that Missouri game. He did not have quickness. He did not have that explosiveness that made him look like he could be a 3 in the NBA. So right now, taking in this injury and taking what we know about Michael Porter Jr., he would play that 4, kicking out Scala Bissier and possibly Harry Giles from that starting lineup. And then at the 5, it'd be Willie Cauley-Stein, but also Willie Cauley-Stein's contract is coming up soon. And with the youth they do have in those bigs, in Scala, Michael Porter Jr., if they take him, and Harry Giles, it's definitely going to make that team have a ton of potential, but will it make it cohesive? If you're going for a cohesive Kings unit, does it still go back to Michael Porter Jr. in mind, or are you going to go with a glue guy and maybe a Mikal Bridges, a guy that can possibly play that 3, and Bogdan, even though he was great, could possibly move to the bench as a 6-man?
No, I think actually Buddy's the one who eats bench on this one.
Okay.
Bogdan goes to the 2, and Porter's just... There's something about this Kings team where I feel like they need a guy to put them over the top. If you add another guy like Mikal, it could turn into a situation where they're a good, not great team. Like, that's where their development could top out at. If you don't have that one guy, like, De'Aaron Fox looked clutch as fuck at the end of the year. Like, this kid looks like he could have something special. But if it was just as that little bit of the Aprils that everybody sees, the April end of the season when everybody starts to have a little bit, signs of hope. Like, Malik Monk didn't get to play all year, and then look what happens when you give him a little time. He's dropping shots from everywhere. I just get concerned when rookie players pop off late in the year like that because I don't know if it's fool's gold or not.
Like, I think the team's kind of playing for nothing almost.
I think De'Aaron Fox is a very good player. I don't know if he's going to be, the best player on the team to lead a team to a championship kind of thing.
Now,
but does he need to be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm leaning more towards you go for a guy with higher upside potential
question,
and Michael Porter to be a star. But yeah, I think Mikhail, like we said, I think he fits better as he's a solid 2 on a team. I don't think he'll ever be a number 1.
The question is, I get why you're putting Michael Porter still available, because in your mock draft you were the only one that had him available at 7. Do you still think there's no way the Bulls draft him? Because to me, I think if Porter's there at 6, he's gone. He's a Bull.
Again, if you're saying that you're going to redshirt him, then possibly. But again, I'm looking at Michael Porter Jr. from what we saw at Missouri. I understand that he can become healthy. He can become the player that we saw coming out of high school. But I did not see that quickness at all, that flexibility in his hips, his ability to switch on defenders, his ability to move freely and flowly at all in any of those Missouri games. He looked slow, he looked downtrodden, and he looked massive out there. I mean, the kid's 6'11". Like, the kid's huge out there. He's more of a 4 in my mind than he is a 3.
The only reason he's this high is because Kevin Durant exists. Like, can we just say that frame-wise, that's what people are praying for?
And that's been an early projection for him. Like, if he hits his absolute ceiling, it's KD.
That's what I'm saying. That's what.
Yeah,
that's
and with his shot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the ceiling of Kevin Durant. So, I mean, again, I don't think he plays a 3.
Because I'm sitting here thinking that with me, I entertain the question because you kind of asked it, and it's like, okay, there's no for sure thing that he will be gone. But in my mind,
proud of you.
I mean, Zach LaVine is going to be, like, he's been out saying that he really wants Michael Porter Jr. I think how the draft will fall out, the Bulls will take him at 6. To me, it comes down to, if you're the Kings, do we go with a Mo Bamba? Because do we think that Willie Cauley-Stein is going to be the guy at the 5 for the future, or do they go with a 3, like if Mikal Bridges is there, if a Kevin Knox is there, if a Miles Bridges is there?
Real quick, I mean, with the Bulls, I want to throw this out there, because if you're going to draft Michael Porter Jr., because this is going to affect the Kings, so this is why I bring up the Bulls. If the Bulls are sitting there and Michael Porter Jr. is on there and Mikal Bridges is on there, again, I know that people love the potential of Michael Porter Jr. And again, if he's healthy, but that's a lot of ifs. And also, if he's not healthy, his position in my mind is a 4. Where's he going to play? Where's Laurie going to play? Is Markkanen going to move to the 5?
From what I've heard, like, the whole thing is to trade Rolo. So, like, trade Rolo,
but do you feel comfortable at Markkanen at the 5?
To me, with this Bulls team, take best potential available, and that would be Michael Porter Jr. Whether he's going to be a 3, going to be a 4, and yes, it affects the Kings, and that's why, to me, I think the decision for the Kings comes down to, do we take a 5 or do we take a 3?
And I'm not going to.
Same thing we just talked about the Cavs.
I'm not going to argue that again with the whole take best player, best potential available. Again, I still think that he has that high potential. He's my number 1 player coming into this season, and that injury happened. Dave, do you think it's a little bit blind though, just to say that? And I'm not trying to crap on what Ricky said, but I'm just saying, do you think it's again a little bit blind to just say we'll make a fit? That happens. We'll just go potential. Do you think it's a little bit blind, or do you think that you should just go potential in the NBA draft, especially when the Bulls are trying to find a star?
I think a lot of the times people overrate fit. I think that's one of the things we kind of were joking around about during the NFL draft was, oh, well, I could see where that team needs that for fit. Like, there's logic there. With the NBA draft I want to say it's like 70-30 potential to fit. Like, if this player could be their top end, if they fully fulfill their potential, they're all of them could be all NBA, all whatever. But at the same time, you have to look at, like, all right, well, where's the floor? Where's the expectation reasonably at? Where's the best case, worst case? Like, all of that shit matters. So that's why I'm thinking, like, fit at the end of the day, like, that means that you believe that these people on your team are cornerstones, will be there regardless of whatever happens with your organization, your coaching staff. Those are the guys. Like, if you're locked in with, for example, a team. The problem is this Kings team is so young. They got so many guys who potential's there. That's why they drafted them. But out of that team, I would say the only guys who are like staples in my mind are De'Aaron Fox and Bogey. Like, those two.
I think you could throw Buddy Hield in, because
Buddy Hield could be.
Thank you for putting some respect on that name.
Well, real quick, I mean, Hield didn't start that many games. I think he only started 13 this year. Yeah. And he saw an uptick in his production. He was more productive from the 3-point line, went a little bit down from his field goal percentage, was a better free throw shooter. I think he also went up 2 points per game. I mean, he still was a little bit more productive.
But your bench shooting guard really shouldn't be a strong consideration in your draft. That's all I'm saying.
But also,
there's no shooting guard that warrants a take right now, but still.
This is also a focal point of a major draft in their mind. And again, Buddy Hield, before De'Aaron Fox was there, when he first came over, looked like
the Buddy Hield show.
The guy. So I'm just saying that I think they were also trying to figure out the fit of having Bogdanovich, having De'Aaron Fox, who struggled a little bit at the start of the season, but then really finished on strong, 13 points per game, 4.5 assists, a steal a game, 3.1 rebounds per game, shot 30% for the field, which for De'Aaron Fox is good, and then shot around 41% from the field. So again, De'Aaron Fox came on a little bit at the end of the year. So again, you're just trying to find how these guys fit, adjustments to the NBA. That was Bogdanovich's first year in the NBA. That was Buddy Hield's first full year with the Kings. That was De'Aaron Fox's first full year with the Kings. You're going to have more adjustment with Harry Giles as well. Coming back to that, though, again, I think that Buddy Hield's safe on the team.
I'm not moving anyone. I'm just saying that you don't avoid one of the most talented players in the draft because you've got a guy who you think is safe. Well, and unless I've got someone who is a staple, like let's go KP.
To this real quick. Okay, let's go to this real quick, though. If this is all about potential, then why isn't Michael Porter Jr. already off the board in the top 5 picks? How is he even falling to the Chicago Bulls at 6? If this is all about potential, a guy that was the #1 player in high school.
I said 70-30.
Okay, but again, if we're talking about potential, Michael Porter Jr., again, if we're saying his top end's Kevin Durant, even if it's near impossible for him to hit that.
Yes.
Yeah, again, body-wise, if his top end's Kevin Durant, how is he not a top 5 pick? So that's why I'm saying Michael Porter Jr. might not be there at 74.
Isn't.
Here, I'll walk you through it in my mind. Where how I had the last mock draft, the Suns, they're going to, it's pretty much all the inklings early on is they'd go with Ayton. So go with Ayton.
He's a good fit, too.
Luka's the clear 2 if Ayton goes 1. Luka's either 1 or 2. So Grizzlies go that. With the Mavericks, you could go Porter, but you have Harrison Barnes, you have Dirk Nowitzki right now. So what, are you going to just play?
I don't think you're going to
play Michael Porter, but
you're not worrying about Dirk right now.
If I'm going to draft for just a power forward, I'll take Marvin Bagley for that because he's a power forward, and he's playing at that position very well in college. Then with the Hawks, it's, I want to go with a big, probably center, a 5'4" kind of a guy. Go with Triple J.
But wait,
do you think that Taurean Prince warrants avoiding
the Hawks could be the first one that could go Michael Porter?
Really?
I just think they would.
Because I think if the Mavericks' plan is to, hey, let's redshirt the kid because Dirk isn't for sure coming back next year, and also you shouldn't be worried about what Dirk Nowitzki's going to be doing. I love Dirk Nowitzki. He's going to be a lifetime Dallas Maverick, as he should be. But Dirk should realize that Michael Porter Jr. or drafting the guy to replace him is not a big deal. And if, again, this is all about potential, let me finish. If this is all about potential, why wouldn't Michael Porter Jr. be going?
Then what do you do at the 5? You're going to bring back Salah because Nerlens ain't going to be coming back.
Okay, but why do you need to address the 5 right away? If this is about potential, why does it matter about the fit? This is what the whole argument's about, is about potential.
I don't think the Mavericks are the team. I don't think it all depends on what. Not everyone's going to do the 76er mind, what's the word I'm looking for? Thought process.
Yeah.
Of let's redshirt the kid. I don't think the Mavs and Mark Cuban and that whole
they're not going to
do that.
They redshirted those kids because they weren't healthy to play.
Yeah.
There wasn't a red shirt because that was the plan. They redshirted because they weren't healthy. Michael Porter Jr. is not healthy. That's why he won't play.
But they had the thought process, even with Joe. Hey, he had some injuries in college. Fuck it, we're going to draft him. And if he's injured now, we're just going to sit him.
He was still hurt.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That was.
I don't think Michael Porter will still be injured by the time we see the end of the combine.
And that's the thing of
we don't know.
I don't think so.
They could do that. I don't think Dallas would. I think they would go with a Marvin Bagley. I think the Hawks would be afraid of that also.
Do you think that Taurean Prince warrants? No, we can't draft. Taurean Prince is our guy, so we're going to stow away.
I'm not saying that comes into it. I'm saying they'd be afraid of that and then go Triple J.
Again, like you said, if we're going about potential, drafting a guy like Michael Porter Jr. does not mean Taurean Prince can't play on our team. You can slide defensively Michael Porter Jr. over the 5, John Collins to the Michael Porter Jr. to the 4.
I know where you're going with this.
John Collins to the 5, and you could keep Prince at the 3, and even then, Prince could still come off the bench and be a 6-man. I mean, we don't know the top level of Taurean Prince. Again, he was also on a bad team getting a ton of usage. So, again, he looked like a real promising NBA player, but is he a starter? I don't think that's surely defined. I'm just saying, if this whole thing's about potential,
need someone to run that team, run that offense.
So then why wouldn't Michael Porter Jr. be the pick?
Because
I understand they have
Trae Young can run it better.
Who's
as
that?
a point guard. Trae Young can run it better as the point.
The top is Kevin Durant, again, we're just trying to come back to.
Well, Trae Young is Steph Curry.
We're trying to get back to the Kings. My point is that Michael Porter Jr., if we're talking about potential in the NBA draft, this kid is not going to be there for the Kings. He's going to be clearly off the board. Yeah. So that's why, and even then, I think Mo Bamba could even be off the board then.
Exactly.
Because of this potential. And I think that's one thing that if they're going to be addressing the 5, that's going to be Wendell Carter. If they're going to be drafting the 3, it's going to be Mikal Bridges. Because Mikal Bridges, again, is a solid player, but his cap that we've talked about is a 2 on a team. So is the pick, then if Michael Porter Jr., Mo Bamba off the board, we'll even say Trae Young's off the board. We'll say Chicago takes him. If Mo Bamba...
So you're saying Bamba...
This video is going to get lots of love.
Bamba, Porter...
What?
Lots of love in this video.
So you're saying Bamba, Porter... Forget that. Bamba, Porter, Trae Young are off the board, right?
1, Ayton goes to the Suns.
Okay.
2, Doncic goes to the goes to the Grizzlies. 3, we'll just put Bagley to the Mavs.
Okay.
4, Hawks go Porter.
Okay.
5, Magic go Trae Young.
Okay.
6, Bulls go Bamba.
Okay, if that's what I'm dealing with right now, my thought process for the Kings then becomes: do I take Mikal Bridges? Or do I go with a Wendell Carter? I would lean towards Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Because Wendell Carter, to me, fits more of that, not just... Like, Mo Bamba fits just a 5. Wendell Carter could be more of that 4. I've got enough 4s on this team that's so backloaded with, like, Scale, Rudolph, Harry Giles, to where I'm going to go with
Zach
a 3.
Randolph isn't...
Then Scale and Giles, still.
Okay.
But the 3 is a little bit weaker. I'll go with Mikal, who can contribute more.
But we just talked about Buddy Hield. We just talked about Bogdan and now you're going to draft another guy, and Justin Jackson, who they just drafted last year. That's another 3.
Yeah.
I mean, they have...
Is Justin Jackson going to pan out, though, for
He started 41 games for them. I mean... This team doesn't have a lot of talent.
Exactly, and I think that Mikal could be one of the corner pieces. Now.
So are you going with Dave's thing where you slide Bogdanovich to the 2 and then you put in Bridges at the 3?
Yeah.
Dave, are you in that same camp, or would you go Wendell Carter?
I would likely stay away from the center. I like Charlie Stein. Like, I know a lot of people, it's mixed on the Kings stuff that I've seen, whether they think they should re-sign him or not. I think a lot will depend on the price point. But I still think he's a quality 5. I think he's athletic enough to run the floor. I think he's young enough to fit the timeline. I don't see any reason to move away from him purely just to go take a swing at somebody else. So, no, I would go with the 3.
And according to Hoops Hype, we got Cauley Stein 2018-2019 is going to be the final year, and then they have a qualifying offer in 2019-2020. So we'll see what the idea there is with Willie Cauley Stein. Again, he's a really athletic player, but with Wendell Carter, he brings more to that team. I mean, Willie Cauley Stein, I haven't seen much outside of another version of a kind of a DeAndre Jordan, where he's going to be a rim runner. He's going to be a guy who's going to protect the rim, and he's going to be running on pick and rolls and attacking the basket. Wendell Carter Jr. brings passing ability, brings more more evolved game offensively, and I think he still brings defense there. I think he probably brings more traditional defense than being a traditional rim protector that you have at that 5. And also, we're depending on Harry Giles, who again I know took the year off and is very promising so far, but we don't even seen him in a game yet, so that doesn't mean he's going to really turn around. And Scale, I think Scale might be more of a bench player from what we've seen. And if the talk is, even from some Kings writers, is that Harry Giles, who again hasn't played a game, could even kick Scale out of his starting position.
Oh yeah, I'm already got that as a lock. Sorry.
So that's the thing is that I think Wendell Carter might be more of a need, because he's going to make your team more diverse. Where if you look at a guy like Mikal Bridges, I already feel like Bogdanovich already plays that position pretty well, and already kind of fits that role of 3-and-D pretty well. So I don't think you need to really address the 3-and-D spot, because you already have that in a Bogdanovich, and you just drafted a guy who you believed coming out of college in Justin Jackson
to be 30% from 3
to be a 3-and-D player. He's young. He's a rookie. It doesn't mean you can't get better from shooting threes.
He's 23.
At 30. That's true. He also struggled. It took him 4 years to learn how to shoot a 3 in college too.
And he forgot already. You're not selling Justin Jackson.
They also didn't have a true like De'Aaron Fox, again, at his peak was only averaging 4 assists per game.
You know what this brings up?
There wasn't a ton of ball movement on that Kings team.
Dave I wasn't going to say it,
what's up?
Dave just made me think of, I was looking at the comment we got from Riley on our Baker Mayfield segment, and he goes,
what does that have to do with the Kings?
No. Just think about it right now. From what Dave just said with Justin Jackson, it's like every time Dave beats Ricky or Sean in a debate, take a shot. Alcohol poisoning.
What's it?
He said every time Dave beats one of us in a debate, take a shot.
Riley,
Alcohol
I love
poisoning.
you, my boy.
I disagree on that one, but all right.
My boy.
I think I've beaten Dave plenty, and especially on the on the live stream that we did. But again, let's go back to the Kings because I feel like we're shafting them here, kind of like when they picked Georgios Papagiannis back.
Bogdan is a ball hand, like he's a secondary ball handler. I think that's what you love to see out of him because he can split that load with De'Aaron Fox. You're talking about not having a true point the entire year because they're splitting the starting point guard role. I understand that, but now with De'Aaron being your true one, Bogdan being the two, I know you hate me for it, but Buddy Hield coming off the bench can take advantage of other teams' second units. His defensive woes are hidden better against second units, so he can be that the match off the bench pretty much, get the team's offense, make sure there's no dip in that. That's why I keep looking. I'm like, don't. Go ahead.
I'm not saying that Buddy Hield won't be a starter. Or will be a starter. I'm not saying he will be a starter. Because, again, for the most part, Justin Jackson was beating him out for a starting spot. I mean, I think Bogdanovich started the most games besides De'Aaron Fox. So they played the 1 and the 2, and then Justin Jackson played 41
Justin
games.
Jackson's got a good body, but the problem is,
forward.
like I said, the shot just did not fall for him. He ended the year pretty poorly. He had mixed results. I'll just mixed results.
Okay, let's answer this question. Do they have a star on this team right now?
Right now,
potentially
De'Aaron.
Harry Giles.
Star.
Are you confident in that?
Yeah, if they get him the right pieces, and I think Mikhail could be a nice 3-and-D next to him.
Dave, do they have a star? Do you agree with what Ricky said, and that if they put the right pieces around De'Aaron Fox, he will be a star?
I want to say yes, but he's not.
Why is that?
He's not a star. His shot from the outside is going to take time. I don't know unless if he can build it up to where he's a comfortable shooter. If he gets that 3-point shot to like 36%, I'm just a smidge above league average. Just a smidge above league average. Yes, he could be a star, but right now, from what I see, he's an awesome defensive point guard who is quick as lightning, can drive to the hole, but at the same time, he's not a star. No.
Well, and maybe a little bit different players because one's a little bit bigger and De'Aaron Fox, but I mean, what you're pretty much describing is Rondo without the passing abilities.
I was leaning more towards John Wallish, but sure. The speed is there.
Okay.
The ability to go elevate near the rim.
But is he going to put up like 24 a game and also like 10 assists a game?
That's the problem. So passing-wise, I think he can. The problem with passing was you got to have people who put the ball in the bucket, and he didn't have consistent roster up there.
Or put the bucket in the basket.
Put the bucket in the basket, as I always say.
Put the bucket in the basket.
So I think that's one of the things that contributes to it. We joked about the Trae Young, the missing assists for his team's awful shooting percentages. I think De'Aaron Fox, not to that extreme, but I think that he'll be a 6 assist kind of guy, comfortably 6+ assists. I just don't see him being a guy who's going to be a 20+ a night scorer for your teams.
So he's he kind of a little bit worse John Wall.
A little bit worse John Wall,
but better defensively.
Yes.
Okay.
But without the cojones to nail down threes
I still go back to Rajon Rondo, just worth passing.
Dude, I don't know if you were there for prime Rondo, but that place holds a dear place in my heart, and he was a freaking monster.
Are you taking prime Rondo as a number one on your team? Are you taking prime Rondo or are you taking John Wall?
I mean, John Wall's one less than prime Rondo. I'm just saying. No, I'm just fucking with you, man. John Wall's a better player. But Prime Rondo could do
number one on
everything.
the team.
Oh man, it's tough.
Just say John Wall because it's John Wall.
It's not because it depends on who's on your team. Even if Rondo's your one, you could have a good supporting cast. John Wall is showing right now with another All-Star next to him and one of the most efficient 3-and-D wing players and Otto Porter that he can't win. So what does that tell you?
He also only has 3 other players on the team. Anyways. What I'm trying to nail down, and this the whole
so an All-Star and one of the most advanced stat-friendly players in the league, and you can't win a playoff series. And how many years have you been doing this? That's all I'm saying. John Wall is a fantastic scoreboard player. I think amazing statistically, but at the same time, I don't know if he's a guy who's going to turn the corner and be a superstar and be able to win shit on his own because he has yet to prove that.
They're rolling out a Morris brother and they're rolling out Marcin Gortat to help him as well. There's no depth on the team. But what I want to say, though, is what I was trying to get at with the De'Aaron Fox and do they have a star on the question there is if they don't have an option to take Michael Porter Jr. there and they're trying to address that 3 position. And we just talked in the Cavs spot, if you're trying to get a star at that 3, and we talked about Mikal Bridges being a 2, why wouldn't Kevin Knox be available, or why wouldn't Kevin Knox be a thought process here? So if
I would take,
because we talked
for
about,
me, I would take Mikal over Kevin.
but we talked about that top end. And if we're looking for a star, if you don't think 100% that De'Aaron Fox is going to be a star, that he needs pieces around him,
I want to play.
Kevin Knox could be an interesting piece because he also fits the timeline, because it's not like the Kings are going to be winning in 3 or 4 years. I see Mikal Bridges as adding to a team, adding to a 1 and 2 already.
Answer me this, and this is for both of you. We're going to play our favorite game here on Most Valuable Podcast, Blind Resumes.
I can't see him. So
you can't see him, but I just came up with it now. I'm sorry.
Right, paint a good picture.
But here's what I want you. Here's player 1. So points per game. And you guys can write this down.
Are these college?
Yes, college stats.
Okay.
Both of them are freshmen only, so one and done players.
Okay.
16.7 points per game, 1.5 steals per game, 4.5 assists a game, 4 rebounds per game. This player shot 47 from the field, 52 from 2, 24 from 3.
Do they play the same position?
Yes.
Okay.
The second person is 19.2 points per game, 0.8 steals per game, 3.6 assists, 3.8 rebounds, shot a field goal percentage of 44.7, a 2 of 49.5, and a 3 of 33.6. Who would you take? Player 1, player 2.
They played the full season.
They played the full season. Player 1 played 36. Player 2 played 33.
Okay,
same position, same height, nearly same weight.
What's the height?
Trying to
6'3".
So they play the same position?
Yes.
So
and they're
in this draft class.
One is in this draft class, one is not.
So one's De'Aaron Fox from last year, and one is Colin Sexton.
Exactly. But who's who?
Sniff that one out.
Who had the higher points per game? Whoever the
Colin
second player
was
the second player was Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
The second one was Colin Sexton.
Okay, what's the point here?
My point was, which one would you take?
We watched too much
player A,
college,
player B.
De'Aaron Fox. I have De'Aaron Fox on my team. I'm not going to draft another point guard.
I'm saying like the point I'm trying to make is like
I don't know the point.
No. When Dave
Colin
said
Sexton carrying the Alabama team versus De'Aaron Fox.
When Dave said he's not a star, do you think Colin Sexton is going to be a star? Because if you think Colin Sexton's going to be a star, then De'Aaron Fox could be a star. That's my point. The only thing that's truly different is the 3-point percentages, where Colin Sexton does shoot a lot better from 3.
I disagree, though, because they're different players. I mean, De'Aaron Fox was taken because of his speed, speed, and also his defensive abilities.
Lockdown defense.
And what he did against Lonzo Ball, piecing him up. And also,
eating that ass.
De'Aaron Fox had Jesus Christ.
His words, not mine.
What is with you and asses this week?
First the onside kick. Fox said it.
I know, but first the onside kick, now here.
De'Aaron Fox also had a much better team around him. So those stats are going to be completely different. You cannot just say, oh, this guy had this and this and this. It's completely different players.
I'm just trying, the stats in college, very similar. I know each situation is different, but that's what popped it into my head when Dave said, oh, De'Aaron Fox is not going to be a star.
Who took the last shot for Kentucky to win that game against UCLA? I think it was UCLA. Last year.
Wasn't De'Aaron Fox?
No, it was not. It was Malik Monk.
Okay.
Malik Monk hit those big shots.
The moistest of men.
He was the go-to guy. He was the go-to scorer. Colin Sexton was the go-to scorer in Alabama. He was the go-to scorer number 1.
Who else did Alabama have this
Exactly.
year?
That's the point.
And Colin Sexton proved that he can be a go-to scorer. And Colin Sexton also proved that he can be a go-to facilitator. I love De'Aaron Fox. I think he's a great player. But my question is he going to be a star? I don't know if that's true.
Is yes, he could be. He will be.
And I don't know.
Not a superstar, not like a top 10 player, but a star.
Not a,
okay. Yeah. I think Kevin Knox has more of that ability. So that's why I would say at that 7 spot, Kevin Knox is also on that board. And over Miles Bridges. I would say if we're looking at filling in that 3 spot for the Kings, it's going to be, and I think probably the 3 prospects, again, if Michael Porter Jr. and Mo Bamba are off the board, the 3 prospects in this order, in my mind, for the Sacramento Kings, Kevin Knox, Wendell Carter Jr., Mikal Bridges.
Wow.
To fit the Sacramento
Carter
Kings.
over Mikal?
Whoa.
To fit the Sacramento Kings. Now, because I think you need a star, and you're getting that potential there. Again, this is just for the Sacramento Kings. And this is not because of a billboard. A big board.
Yeah,
billboard.
This is not because of and the camera shut off, so sorry about that. But this is a good conversation, I think. Again, this goes back to the position and the potential and the need. And I think that getting more star potential is going to help your team because this team is still very young. Scale hasn't proven anything. Harry Giles hasn't played a game. De'Aaron Fox just had his first year. Buddy Hield just had his first full year. And also, Justin Jackson, Bogdan just had their full first year. You're going to still have time for Kevin Knox to develop. That's why I would go with him.
Let me ask you this then. You say, oh, well, De'Aaron Fox is, let's say, not going to be the guy because let's say what you did, never took the shot in college.
No, I'm saying he could be.
But let me just go through this thought process. Could Buddy Hield? Buddy Hield was that guy in college when he was coming out.
Completely different player. Again.
But is he going to be the guy for the Kings?
No, he's going to be on the bench.
That is going to take that shot.
The reason they're taking a 3 is because Buddy Hield's not a starter.
Yeah, but Buddy Hield's going to play the 2.
Okay.
Buddy Hield ain't going to play the 3. He's going to play the 2.
Okay, then and we just said that the better 2 on the team is Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
So that's the
question. If you're with Bogdan at the 3, then you could roll with Buddy as a starter, but it depends on what they want to do. Like, for a reason, because Justin Jackson's bigger, they rolled him out there as a starter for the 3. That's his starts.
And Buddy provides scoring off the bench.
Exactly.
Which they didn't have.
I think fit-wise, it works out for them well. I would flip your order, though. I still think that I would take Knox over Wendell. I would still say Mikhail, Knox, then
Miles.
Wendell.
Okay.
Miles is I'm having a hard time finding a good role for him on this team. I think he becomes I think for the Kings he's a tiny bit redundant and you don't need him. Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be a bad pick, but it's just I'm finding a hard time trying to find a spot to land him.
Let's bring this off. The camera's off. Let's just go real quick. No matter, let's kind of take Michael Porter Jr. back in here, Mo Bamba back in here. Let's say it's 7. Michael Porter Jr., Mo Bamba, Kevin Knox, Mikal Bridges are somehow all available. Let's just throw it on the floor. Which need are you addressing more? Michael Porter Jr. at the 3 or the 4 possibly, Mo Bamba at the 5, or are you going to go with Kevin Knox or Mikal Bridges? Let's say those 4 players are on the board.
It's a choice between, like, the 3 we just talked about don't matter. It's between Mo and Michael, and I'd probably go Michael Porter just because of the potential reason, but it would be hard to pass on Mo Bamba because of the questions with Cauley Stein.
70-30 potential versus what you proved. 70% of potential for Michael Porter is still an insane amount to take him. Even if he doesn't look, silky smooth, I'm in.
I meant to give me a 1, 2, 3. So Porter's my 1, 2. So Porter's my 1.
So we're
Bamba,
Porter
Mikal.
round 2.
So
we're going
Bamba,
Bamba at your 2 and then Mikal at the 3.
Yeah.
I would go Mikal at the 2, Knox at the 3.
And so you're not going Mo Bamba. You're not addressing that 5.
I would not touch the 5 yet.
Okay, I'm going MPJ. I'm going Kevin Knox. I'm going Bamba.
Okay.
For this Kings team, just fit-wise. And I think also you're taking in potential. Kevin Knox still has potential. He's just going to take a while, and I think he fits this timeline.
I don't know if he's going to take I don't know. I don't know.
Kevin Knox
He's got a better body. He's got good wingspan. He's got the ability to be a scorer on a team, like a primary scorer for stretches. So
we talked about this before.
But there's
Kevin
a reason
Knox
he's going. There's a reason he's going outside the top 10.
He fell off after, he was clearly taken off of the number 1 from his team after partway through the year. So
I think he's also limited right now in the game that he has. So I think he has to develop more moves. I think he has to kind of like what Miles Bridges needed to do. A little bit better of an athlete for sure. But Miles Bridges consistently was going to the same moves over and over again. Kevin Knox is doing the same thing.
You could almost predict Miles. Yeah,
so that's the thing is Kevin Knox needs to become more of an offensive scorer. He has the abilities to be a great scorer, but he needs to develop those abilities. Ricky, do you want to say anything final?
The only thing I was going to say is I see Kevin Knox as a better fit for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I know we already talked about the Knicks.
But if he fits the Kings, then
I think he fits the Knicks better a little bit with that potential.
No, but the Kings are in front of him. So
I know, but I think the Kings. The Kings. It's between for me Porter and Bamba. So they're not even thinking.
Yeah, and he's got Knox at 5 or something.
Yeah, again, I'm just saying Again, if the Kings, if we're going back to the original thing where Bridges on the Mikhail's on the board, Wendell Carter's on the board, Knox is on the board again. But I'm just saying, if the Kings feel like Kevin Knox is still a good fit for them.
But you're asking me who I feel like, which would be Mikal.
Dave, any final thoughts?
No, this was a great conversation, boys.
All right, again,
I'm a man. I'm 28.
What?
I'm quoting Mike Gundy.
He's 40.
But I'm not 40. I'm 28 though. I'm not 40.
If you for some reason want to like this podcast, give us a like down below.
After all of that, if you're still listening,
rate us 5 stars on iTunes. This was an interesting fast break podcast. This probably is why we were here from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Last night, and then running it back at 7 p.m. Anyways, if you have any thoughts, down in the comments below, let us know about the Kings, the Cavs, the Pelicans versus the Warriors, and also our Wet Boys. Again, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes. The Onside Kick Pick, the Primetime Podcast, the Fast Break Podcast, the Outcast. They're not on iTunes yet, but check them out on YouTube. And then also check out Rick and Johnny on iTunes and rate them 5 stars. Also, check out mostvaluablepodcast.com if you want to check out the store. And check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast if you want to be on a podcast or if you want to get a monthly Patreon podcast or ask us questions at that $5 tier. But for Dave Oster, Ricky Widmer, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.